do anything. If we do something today, approving this, it allows you some flexibility that we may be taken away by not approving it. And I would rather give you the flexibility. We as a commission cannot act fast enough to give you the flexibility you need to handle this situation. We need to do everything we can to allow the professionals in the field to make game time decisions, go or no go. Commissioner Drew.
Mike, could you remind me, you had the plan in place. This is an augmentation, basically an amendment to the plan. Do you have any other outlets at this point that are still in the plan for sheep? Or did we fill all those needs last year?
You know, I rehashed the list, and they all have a little baggage associated with them. But really the only one that has low risk to disease is Boulder Canyon, the extreme northeast end of the Delamars. You know, we talked about the Virginia range, but we are knowledgeable now that we do have domestics that are on the west side, on the Flowery Range, which is just the western extension of the Virginia range there. And we've got a lot of satellite collar data showing those rams wandering into that country, and you know, the feral horse situation is just deplorable there. And I just couldn't put any more sheep on top of that situation. The Sonomas, we just, you know, we're trying to sit down with the permittee and the BLM this summer, but it hasn't happened yet, and that could take years. Yeah, we just and you know, maybe something will come up this summer. I know I've talked to Jason about Stillwaters. We didn't propose it today, but you know, we go back to the map and see if we can find something that's a stopgap that we could feel comfortable with. You know, it would speed up our reaching our carrying capacity, but maybe we'd feel comfortable that we're not going to send these animals to some other kind of death.
And I guess just to follow up with what Mike's saying, I mean, it sounds like we have some options on other outlets, and I completely understand, Commissioner Robb, what you're saying. I guess maybe the fear I have is if we approve this pending, you know, department's final blessing, I guess, the expectation is going to be that those sheep go in, and I think it's going to put the department in a tight spot. Whereas if we tabled it and provided some time, we've got meetings in August and September, and I know that doesn't necessarily help some of the commissioners on this panel. But if there's some better options out there, or we get more information in that time frame, at least we haven't necessarily set a false expectation by approving it with conditions. So that's kind of what I'm struggling with internally here.
Go for it.
Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Lane.
And I do apologize for getting here late and not hearing some of the information before, but I know I'm having a really difficult time with this because we had a fairly substantial discussion at the Clark County CAB about this issue, and also it just seems to me it was not that long ago, Mike, that we talked about the fact that, you know, we didn't have any place else to put these sheep. I mean, that this was the huge issue, and so now that we have all these other issues that really bother me. I mean, we have all these other issues with disease that we're trying to deal with, and the fact that these, you know, we talked about how far these sheep can travel. I mean, I think that's the thing that I took away from some of the previous discussions that we had. So I'm really hard pressed right now to support this particular amendment. I have to say I'm not you know, I realize we've got too many sheep in some areas, but I'm not convinced that taking this path is going to, it's going to create more problems than it solves. I guess that's my feeling, and I would kind of, if somebody's going to support a motion to table, I think I might support that as opposed to moving forward with it.
Commissioner Bliss?
Just make a comment. You know, I share some of the same concerns as Commissioner Macbeth. We got a healthy, striving sheep population in the Bears that, you know, need some sheep removed, and I would hate to see that population suffer. But I also understand all the concerns with where they're going and putting clean sheep in with sick sheep. But at this point, I'm more concerned with the Bears, and if it was tabled, if there could be something that come back at the next meeting or two with some more ideas on what we could do. Because personally, I'm more concerned about the Bears than any of it right now.
Any other commission comments? Commissioner Drew?
I would move to table the fiscal year 2014-15 big game release plan amendment at this time and encourage the department to report back and if deemed appropriate, bring forward an amendment in either August or September.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Drew, second by Commissioner Wallace. Any further discussion? Where does I have a question now for discussion. Does August put you behind the 8 ball? You still have time to react if it was approved in August. But it becomes harder because your capture crew time starts getting filled up with other states doing stuff. I mean, your flexibility starts being minimized the later you go.
You know, again, we may have some lethal samples that we have test results back. We'll take a look at our whole card again for alternative low-risk release sites. And that's those two things will be probably the only thing we can bring forth, which is more than what we have today in August.
Commissioner Drew?
I guess just to follow up, my thought here is that we're not locking into what's proposed on paper before us today. I mean, I think it sounds like we're going to have a capture crew regardless because there is at least one release site that we've got. And so it becomes more a function of how many days we got to schedule those guys for. We're still going to probably request a block of time from them.
Yeah, that's already been set in motion. They are set to come in October and, you know, maybe capture 50, 60 animals for sampling and testing.
And then I think what it gives us is the ability, if there's another workable solution or, you know, we get more information on this potential solution, at least, you know, we have that information. I think it actually gives us more ability to attack this from a couple different perspectives versus what's simply in front of us on paper today. And Glenn, I appreciate everything you said. I mean, this is not an easy one, but I just really fear locking into this and setting the expectation this is going to happen versus, you know, let's take a couple months and see if we have a better idea or a better solution. And it's not an easy motion to make, and I'll wear it, but I mean, that's where I'm at.
Any other commission comments? I have a comment. I'm not going to support the motion because I do believe we need the flexibility. I do recognize what Glenn said, but if this motion fails, I'd be willing to make a motion myself saying that we would approve this, supporting the department and their decisions going forward, and with the caveat that and I would talk to the NGOs myself and some people and just say, hey, just because we approved it doesn't mean it's going to happen. We have to do what's prudent. And I think that's what I'm trying to get to is the most prudent thing, not shutting the door. I want to keep the door open, realizing that the door is probably 3/4 of the way shut. It just hasn't locked. And so I won't be supporting the motion for that reason.
And just to add to that, I think we're on the same page, and I think we're just going at it a different way here, so I
And
have no issue with that.
Commissioner Drew and I often do that, so. Any other commission discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, let's take a show of hands, because I can't see everybody. Who's aye? Lane, McNinch, Drew, Moore, aye, Wallace. Nays? Macbeth, Rob, Bliss. So motion passed.
Sorry to take so much time.
You know, it's not much time, Mike. These are the issues we need to be dealing with. These are important issues. It's important to a lot of sportsmen, and you see it is important to a lot of sportsmen with the dollars and time they spend to get it done. So I appreciate your time today. Okay, we're going to move on to agenda item number 7.